Hey, I am so excited to show you. This is Kezia, okay? Kezia is one of the most energetic and capable business growers in the NDIS. She builds businesses so quickly and she does it in a way that builds people, looks after people, and in a way that other people look at it like, oh, that must be hard. And like, Kezia, you've got a few magic tricks up your sleeve. What is it that makes you want to be in the NDIS space? What is it that makes you want to be in allied health? What is it that makes you want to grow your business?
Thank you for having me, first of all, Michael. I really appreciate it. So, my business is staying independent. So, if I roll back, I'm an OT. So, the first part for my business, I'm an OT. Then I thought I want to start a business because I thought we can do it better. I thought there's a way that we can be more efficient with the way that we, service our clients. And I suppose this came back from working in public health. I thought that there was huge inefficiencies there, so I thought we can do it better. So then I started my company. I started sole trader, no clients, no income, no nothing, but I thought we can do it better. So then just started and went and grew and grew. So the business is pretty young in the sort of the scale of how old, some of the companies are, but we've been going 15 months and we now have 17 staff, probably just under 80 clients. And we've got a lovely office. I was just telling you before, it's like pretty cool space. It's going really well. So it's definitely doable.
It is. And what's your superpower? Because the last 15 months haven't been the easiest to grow an NDIS business, but you're showing that you can do this. Like,
Yep.
what are some of the things that have been key for you guys to grow and to do well?
First thing, business coach. That if anyone was starting a company, I would say if you've not run a business before, which I hadn't. So I'm not some expert that's done this before. This is my first business that I've run. I've done a lot of things before. I've worked in marketing and advertising and various other things. But in terms of running a healthcare business, this is my first try. So number one is I get a business coach. So I started off with Paul Bryant. He's great. He set me to task. His course, excellent. So I did that and then built from there. But the big thing is that I think is that if you stay curious, so you just ask. So if you don't know something, ask. So I think from the start, when I didn't know something because I hadn't done it before, I didn't say, oh, yeah, I can do that. Nah. If I don't know, I'll be like, I don't know. I don't know, but tell me, how can I do it? So then I suppose if you ask my staff, they think it's crazy, but I love to work. I don't watch TV. All I consume is I just love what I do and I love to learn, particularly learn business because that's been a bit of a challenge. So that's probably for me, I just inhale business day and night because I love it. So yeah, not for everyone, but I reckon you can do like a watered down version and still be very, very successful.
Okay, it's weird how you say that. You're almost apologetic. Why is that? Like, work is a virtue and you're helping people. Is it because you're worried about other factors in life, or like why do we as business owners struggle to even view our own work as important, or why do we not want the spotlight?
Oh, I'll take the spotlight. The
You'll
work's
take it.
important. Oh, yeah, I'll take the spotlight. The work's important. The work that we're doing and what we're creating is very good. The method of work, how I operate, is so off the scale of strange. So I think in that sense, I don't want people to think, oh, in order to have the success that my company has built, I have to do all these like really extreme things. You don't. My way of living is very unusual. I have very, very, very low sleep requirement. So I kind of get 2 work days in one. So it's actually a thing. It's called short sleep syndrome, where you can function off very, very small amount of sleep, like 4 hours a night. And it doesn't affect me. I function exactly like everyone else, but probably even more efficiently. So I do 2 work days to everyone. I do the work day with my staff and they go home, sort out my kids, they go to bed, and I do work day number 2. But that's where I'm comfortable. So I want to be clear, you do not need to operate like me to be successful, but you still can be very successful.
That's remarkable. Well done. And then you're very passionate about not just being boring vanilla. And you and I, we both live in an NDS world where life is very vanilla. And it's almost like people get prizes for being more vanilla than others, or telling you how vanilla they are. Like, what's your take on the whole standing out thing?
I think, first of all, it's not hard to stand out in our sector because it's beige. It's so boring and it's so beige, and I think it doesn't need to be. It's, the work we're doing is actually quite interesting, but the vehicle of it is so crap. It's so boring. So I thought, you know, I suppose I'm a very creative person. So the business has given me a chance to say, all right, okay, hang on, let's do this differently. So we just did an expo last few weeks, and I decided to launch our business. We did a campaign called Grow With Us. And again, our sector doesn't do campaigns. So I want to say, everyone, start doing damn campaigns. Campaign, build anticipation, build something interesting for the participants to think and learn and join and think, hang on, that's cool. I want to work with them. Don't go and bring your pull-up banners to everything like everybody else, because that's what you're meant to do. Do something different. So build a campaign, build some anticipation. So I thought, what's the core of our message? And we want our participants to grow, and I want my staff to grow. So that's kind of, I came up with Grow With Us. And then I thought, how does that concept translate to a booth? Like these boring 4x3. So then I kind of built the idea from there. And then I thought, I want it to be like a garden. I want people to come into a garden like an installation. And so the purpose of the booth was not, here, take all these flyers because this is what we do. But it's more, hang on, what the hell are these people doing? So we had like a 2.5 meter size horse that was covered in moss. And then it was, vines and, green walls. It was great. So the purpose was people to come and experience it. So like an installation, come and experience it. And they did. Like, every person, what do you do? But that was the point. The draw was to draw them in. They experienced it, they take pictures, they enjoyed it. And that was kind of like, that was our expo. And I can tell you it was a roaring success.
I am so happy to hear that, because how weird is it? You go to these networking events and everyone wants to give you a squish ball or a tote bag or a pen that looks like it's probably not good enough quality to be sold at the reject shop. Okay.
No.
And you're like, man, can we do something different? And here you are with basically an indoor garden.
Yeah.
And people who haven't seen what Kezia has done on LinkedIn, it's basically more green than you've ever seen packed into a 3x3 square. Okay, it was off the charts. But again, that's just how you do things, and you grow because you're willing to do what others in NDIS world won't do. Okay. Yeah. What else do you think that other people who want to grow their NDIS business could be doing?
Be bold. If you've got something to say, just say it. If you want to go to even if you're listening to like a forum or something, say. If you think something's like not good, then say something. So if you scroll your feed, if you talk to colleagues, everyone's got everything's so negative about the NDIS, where it doesn't need to be. So if we start saying more positive things, let's get some traction with that. So start being brave to say, hang on, we've got lots of positive things that are going really well in the scheme at the moment. We're seeing really good work on the ground. Instead of the narrative, because I think that there's like this unconscious bias as well, that the more negativity we spread, the more terrible we think the scheme is. So I would say everyone be brave to be out there and say, hang on, I'm doing some really good work. So let's post about our really good work. Let's post about how we're doing these things and these options, not just these are the services I offer, but look at this service because it's bloody great. A bit more like pizzazz rather than everything is just like, oh, just say hi, this is what I do.
Yeah. It's like remember at school, there were the kids who always just hung out lunchtime in the library? I was one of those kids in year 4 and 5, all right? It's like we were never excited about life. And it's like, because we were the kids back then who, like, I was really fat when I was a kid, or a bit fat, and I didn't have much social skills and all that. My parents were teachers. They were always growling at kids, and then the kids wouldn't respond well to me. Okay. It was great. But I'd hang out in the library with my 2 friends and we'd sit around playing chess and doing boring things. But that was all we had. And now I look at what I see in NDS world. It's so easy for us to go back to, oh, this is life. This is boring. And it wasn't until, say, year 8 or 9 where I was in the playground playing sport. I had friends. I loved life. I didn't realize that it could be actually really fun at school. And what you're describing is in NDIS, we all think we should be sitting in the library playing chess, but there's life to be lived. There's gardens to go and stick at the networking event. Like, wow, what else can we learn from you, Kezia?
I think one of the biggest things that I harped on with my staff as well is efficiency. So that looks different for the way that I built our model of care, but also efficiency with the staff. So within our team, I'm very particular who we have in our part of our team. So I kind of talk about it like we hire with intention. So the people that we hire, well, that I hire, I mean, there's no one else here, it's me.
It's all right. I know new providers who talk about we. I get it. We're good. Okay.
I'm an I, it's me. But the sort of the thought behind it is everyone sort of picks the model that works for them. So I like to get to know the people and say, okay, well, what works for you? Tell me what's in your life. Because I think it's naive to think that people don't have a life. People have kids, people have commitments, they care for other people, they have interests, they have clubs and whatever else they do. I really don't mind what you do. As long as you have some richness in your life outside of work, I know you're going to be a good employee at work, as long as I can work with what you've got in your life. So with all the staff, I want to get to know, well, when I interview them, tell me about what's you and what you want. Then when they tell me, all right, let's build you what your work would look like from there. So then each of them have a different way of working, different set hours, all of that. And then so again, you reap what you sow. You give them flexibility and grace and understand that like life happens, you get it back tenfold. So that's like one thing. And that's made my staffing efficiency incredibly good because the staff are vested. And like yesterday or 2 days ago, I said to the team, I was like, hey, anyone want to do some CPD? And we had this website up of some of the leaders in autism sort of education. And I like read the courses out. I was like, who wants to do this? Who wants to do this? Who wants to do this? And I give them choice. Yep, I'll take it. Yep, I'll take it. Yep, I'll take it. Because I want to invest in them. So the more education I can get them to do, and they're like, wow, okay, cool. Okay, thinking that, you know, I'm offering all of these things up to them that they don't have to say, oh, can I please have a $200 voucher once a year to do the thing? I will pour all I can afford to them because they're the army, they're the ones that's actually going to grow the business. So investing in your people is essential. So that's been one very good thing that I would say is a bit different. And then the efficiency with the model of care as well.
Okay, so can you tell us about what you're doing with the efficiency and model of care and stuff? Now, NDIS providers in, say, Still or STA or somewhere else, not allied health, might think, oh, this doesn't relate to me. It sure does. Because you invented this stuff and they need to go and invent for their sector of the market. Tell us what you're inventing.
Well, they don't need to invent for their sector because my thing covers everyone.
Even better. What have you got?
So I basically thought this started with as an OT, sole trader. Then when I kind of built the business, I was going to see clients as an OT. And then I was coming into contact. Participants have lots of different providers. So then I thought, I say, write my report, and then I go to see the participant once every 6 weeks or whatever it is. Then I couldn't see traction. Things weren't changing, particularly for the participants who have, you know, reasonable plans or have support workers. Why is this not changing?
Yeah, the support workers are there. There's a plan to be followed. It's funded. Why are we still not getting out that front door?
Correct. And then when you meet the support workers, they're great. They're great. These are people that are vested in, and even if they're not vested in, or even if they're vested in 20%, let's say like the worst case scenario, this can still improve. So the problem is this disconnect. Everybody's working in silos. So then we would have an MDT meeting, and then we would say to the support workers,
MDT, just so that the
multidisciplinary team meeting. Yep. So that's where all the providers come together who are working with that participant. We all come together and say, hey, what's everyone working on? Oh, so-and-so is not meeting their goals. Oh, we need a plan review. Oh, we need more money. We need more money. We need more money. That was the thing. It's never enough. It's never enough. Oh, if I had more funding, we could do. If I could do more, but I can't. My funding's run out. The message was constantly, there's not enough money. But I thought to myself, this actually makes no sense because our scheme is hugely better than anything else in the world. We are so blessed with what we have in Australia for our disability community. And that's not going to be a popular opinion right now, but I will say it again. We are so blessed what we offer our disability community.
Okay, let's hone in on that for a sec. Why on earth is it that in Australia, where we have the best setup nationally funded for people with disabilities, that there is a level of complaint that is probably more appropriate for South Africa, Kazakhstan, Russia? Why? Well, where does that come from? Because I know that there's not many places on earth where someone's going to go and throw 20 grand at a kid who needs it and go and get what you need and live a great life. What's going on?
But if you find it, let me know, but I don't think it
It
exists.
doesn't exist. It's
Right.
in Disneyland. Like,
Yeah.
and yet the negativity, it's like it almost becomes, you become one of the uncool kids at school if you say, I freaking love that we live in a country like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's
Correct.
going on? And how do we fix that? And is it something that we can fix overall, or is it something that you fix and I'll fix and we'll try and watch our mouth when we have a hard day? And like, what's going through your head there?
So I think first of all, I think we've lost sight of the goalposts. I think we've lost sight that in fact we have so much. The way the scheme has kind of rolled out and that it's inconsistent. So that everyone has this sort of thing, I need to be fair because so and so gets this, so and so gets this, I should get it too.
Yep.
So I think the fact that that it's not clear that
Yep.
everyone gets the same thing. So the default is, well, that sucks. I should have more.
Yeah, that's true. That is
You know,
what the default becomes.
because everyone thinks, well, because so and so got that, I should get it.
Yeah, that's
But
right.
and yes, it's very difficult because we don't necessarily know all of the reasons why some people do or don't receive whatever services they do.
Yep.
And we all know that. So that can just not even get airtime because the NDIS stuff we know, whatever. But the thing is, I think that because then we're so used to, as a collective sort of sector, to whinge. It's so bad. We don't have enough. You know, every sort of you know, when this new one just dropped down about like the funding is only every month or 3 months, all of the feedback I've read so far is terrible. And it's focused on things like, well, in the question time, they couldn't even answer these questions. So what about if we think about it is, okay, perhaps this could be positive. Perhaps we could work on our efficiency rather than saying, well, it's not fair because I can't have all my money at once. What if we stop and say, okay, this is what it is. This is how the scheme is going to run. So what are we going to do about it? Instead of whinging.
I get that. I get what you're saying. Okay, and so people are whinging that things are not on track because they are fearful. And the other thing is, you're in allied health where your margins are fairly decent compared to, say,
Yeah.
community access. Okay, but there's a lot of fear because also people are scared to change and adapt. Like, what are we going to do with an army of, I don't know, 40,000 support coordinators the day that they're cut? Because they sure as heck won't just be re-employed as magic navigators, because that makes no sense. Why'd you get rid of people and then replace them same cost? That makes no sense. It's like the fear and the apprehension and the lack of optimism is just tangible, and I even find myself becoming infected by it. Like, some days I'll head inside and I've just listened to 3 people tell me how much their business is struggling, and I feel down about that. You know, it's a tough time, but then sitting down feeling rubbish about it doesn't solve it. Like, what are you seeing here that we need to be aware of?
So I think again, it comes back to efficiency. So I'm going to say this model of care I've created, which is called the integrated outcomes model. So basically, as I mentioned, we're working in silos. It takes that away. So we've got our allied health, and then we've got the support workers, and we've got that. So in my opinion, the support workers are the most valuable asset to the whole sector. They're the most undervalued, but actually they are the most valued. I feel they're the top of the tree because they're the army. They're the ones on the ground actually implementing change. So OTs, I'm an OT, I can say this, we hold a lot of like pull in this sector. We write the reports. So say we write a really good report and we're able, fortunately, to get a participant, you know, whatever funding. We're not actually going to make the change. The change comes a lot of the time from the support workers. So this is where we need to be more efficient. So in this model that I've created, our allied health train the support workers because I employ them both. They're under one roof. So I have my own team of support workers and my own team of allied health. So the allied health train the support workers. The support workers then know what to do with the participant. So instead of 2 silos under separate, they work together. So then the outcome is astronomically different because then the support worker's like, okay, I know what I need to do. And if they've got a question, they call the OT because they work at the same company. So they call and they say, hey, I'm with so-and-so. What do I do with him today? They give an answer. Oh, he's like, you know, flipped his lid. What do I do? Help. You know, so we communicate. So then the efficiency of that is massively different. So the outcomes we're seeing is transformative. It's under the same funding. It's the same amount of money. It's just how we use it. So I think that if we use the funds better, which we can if we are more efficient and stop whinging, you would see the outcomes are phenomenal.
That makes so much sense, because I guess what you're talking about is, instead of paying allied health $193 an hour, you're paying your support worker, like, I don't know, whatever they are, say a third of that. They get triple the amount of hours, triple the influence. All they have to do, the OT's job is not to be a genius at doing stuff. They're to be a genius at coming up with a really good plan. It just makes sense.
It makes sense because the OT, no allied health will have funding that can actually implement, because that's the thing, they can prescribe, and the implementation is actually support workers. So if support workers aren't given directive from the person prescribing, you're giving them like a map with no directions. How are they meant to know what to do?
So true.
Tell them and help them, and then we use them as feedback, because we don't know everything. They know everything. So if we give them the tools and then they feedback and say, hey, this is not working, then we can all do our job better. But I don't understand. Nobody is doing it. So now I'm like talking about it at the expo. You know, some of the big national players who kind of came to the store, like, why the hell do you have a horse? And then we chatted, and then I explained to them how like I run the company, and they're like, whoa. So the responses have been, whoa, why are we not doing this? Well, how come I didn't think of that? And I'm like, yeah, why are we not doing this as a whole sector? Why? It's so simple.
I love what you're doing, and I love that you're proactive in getting the word out that there is a better way. Yeah. Okay, so anyone who's an NDIS provider listening to this, if they're not allied health, it's still true. There is a better way. We haven't yet found it. But a better way is never going to be sit around and whinge more. Okay, no. There are times to be like, whoa, we've just discovered something weird here. I get it, but that's like 7 days a year. The other days, let's go and be proactive. Okay, yeah. Can I ask you some hard questions?
Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question that actually matters to every single one of us watching this?
Yeah.
How do you be the best possible mum, partner, etc., while you're running such a fast-growing business? How do we learn from you? How do you handle it? How do you balance it? How do you make sure that at the end of the day, you're your best self at home, not just at work?
I apologize when I'm late. I own my stuff. If I've spent too much time at work, I say sorry. That's the first thing. I don't blame anyone else but myself. So if I'm late, if I haven't done something, I've missed something at the kids' stuff, I say I'm sorry. And the same with work if I'm late at work. So first thing is to say, you know, it is what it is. You can't do everything. You can try, and there are some like wins, but you know, it's not perfect. I mean, we order Uber Eats all the time. That's my first hack. My second hack is, how valuable is my time? So I have a thing called stop doers list. So I think, what are the things that I need to stop doing that I can farm out for efficiency? So if I can, so I'm a terrible cook, number one, and I don't really think it's a good use of my time because I work a lot because I'm building the company, but I also have 2 kids. So we eat out. We eat out because efficiency of time, that's where we kind of, you know, when I go home, I order on the way home, and then the food's there we eat, instead of me trying to cook something that's going to be bad anyway. So efficiency is probably the main thing. And also, you know, being optimistic. You know, work is hard, yeah, but I'm so blessed we have the company to run. You know, we have stuff. So I think that that's the message I kind of give to my kids, like, so much gratitude, be grateful for all we have. And you know, I think that they sometimes like, God, Mum, shut up. You're like high on life all the time. But I'm grateful to have opportunities to run a business, to be their mum, to, you know, do their school stuff and be a good partner, all of that.
I think that's just amazing. I think it's just extraordinary, because it's like, it doesn't matter what our circumstances are. If our attitude is an attitude of, I'm grateful for this spot I'm in, that is a game changer. So I guess the real question there becomes, all right, you've worked hard, you've grown something amazing, okay, what do you want your kids remembering you for when they're 30, they're 40, they're 50 and you're no longer here? How do you want them to look back on that? And are there things that right now that you're planting so that you can harvest that later?
I think the thing probably is that they know, so we're clunky. Like, I'm late for everything. So that I think that life is quite clunky as well. But I think that they also think it's like, oh yeah, okay, Mum, we do crazy stuff. We do crazy stuff because it's like, we're going to run a business. We're going to open a business. We're going to do this. I also flip houses on the side, by the way. So that's like a whole nother thing. But I think that it's just that they're like mum was great. Like mum does all sorts of weird stuff. And, you know, I say to them, you know, when I was launching the business, hey, we're going to flip this house at the same time. So, oh, we're going to like upscale up at the same time. So that I think that they're just used to it. They're used to living in like this crazy sort of fun. I mean, it's not always fun. Like stuff goes bad as well, but that's how we live. I roll the dice. If there's an opportunity, I do it because you can do it and pivot and do it and pivot. It's the same principle across everything. If, you know, my son owned a rugby club, he likes it, but doesn't really like it. So we do it and we pivot. So that's the thing probably that I want them to know, that we do things, we commit, and then if we adjust, but we do. So I'd say that's probably the main thing, that, you know, we were doers, we did stuff.
Okay. Well, here's what I think. After doing way more podcasts than I can imagine I ever would, you are by far the most positive NDIS provider I've chatted with in a podcast. You're by yeah, and the most realistic of what can be done, what can't be done. Therefore, we'll find some corners. You're by far the most direct and straight, and you're also like living it out. And so I just think hats off to you. Like hats off to you in every way. And I'm inspired hanging out with you for like however long we've been hanging out. And I just hope everyone connects with you. How do people find you?
So my company's called Staying Independent. We've got a website, and then obviously my name, Kezia Tieck. I think Michael, you'll like link something up here.
Yeah.
And so we've got LinkedIn, and we're on Facebook, and we are on Instagram.
I love it. I'll tell you what, and if you can't find her with a name like Kezia, Kezia Tieck, well, message me, okay? We'll work it out. Okay, you've been an absolute blessing. Thank you so much for your time today, and keep changing the world.
Thanks, Michael.